Hey guys, Jelby Zombie here, and I bid you welcome to the first video in a new series of playlists. This is my review for Dracula 1931, and throughout the end of October I'm going to be reviewing all the other essential Universal monster movies. So let's get started with Dracula. It was the end of the silent horror era, and the talkies were now in full swing. The first sound horror movie came from Universal Pictures and director Tod Browning. In 1931, this was Dracula. Browning had previously worked with silent horror icon Lon Chaney, the Man of a Thousand Faces, on many movies, but most notably a movie from 1927 titled London After Midnight. And as we all know, that Lon Chaney was in charge of his own makeup, which gave him the nickname the Man of a Thousand Faces. In this movie, his character disguises himself as a vampire, or sometimes known as the Man in the Beaver Hat. Ironically, when Tod Browning was making Dracula, Lon Chaney was approached to play the title role, but unfortunately he died of throat cancer in 1930. Also ironic that he passed away during the silent cinema. But what's even more unfortunate is that London After Midnight is now a lost movie. The last known copy was burned in a vault. But fortunately, many stills have survived, and the company, Turner Classic Movies, has restored the movies with those remaining stills. Still, not what we would have wanted. We would have wanted to see the full film, but it's unfortunately the closest we're gonna get to seeing that movie. But there was to be a new actor that would become the new Dracula, and without a doubt he would become the most iconic and probably the most important Dracula that was ever seen on the screen, and his name was Bela Lugosi. Lugosi had already played the Count in 1927 on Broadway, so he had already donned the cape. And the reason why I believe that Lugosi's version of Dracula is the most popular is because every time someone does an impression of Dracula, they always use a Hungarian accent. Or whenever they style their hair as Dracula, they always have the widow's peak. There's no doubt about it. Bela Lugosi set the popular image for this character. It doesn't matter if Dracula is in his cape, his dinner outfit, or his top hat and cape. Bela Lugosi, in Tod Browning's 1931 movie Dracula, is the most iconic version of the character. Also, let's not forget Lugosi's non-blinking eyes. Also, keep in mind that before this movie, no one had ever heard Dracula speak on film before. Lugosi was the first actor to do so. He set the benchmark for other actors to play the role onwards. And considering that Dracula is an important character in Universal's monster legacy, Bela Lugosi only played Dracula twice in two Universal monster movies. Those movies would be Dracula, of course, from 1931, and Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein from 1948. Even though this review is about the 1931 movie with Bela Lugosi, I do have to give an honourable mention to the Spanish version released the same year. Whilst the American crew filmed during the day, a Spanish crew would come in and film during the night, making use of the same sets and shooting script. As iconic as Tod Browning's Dracula is, I personally believe that the Spanish version is far superior cinematically. The first time we see the Count in Tod Browning's version, he walks down the stairs and then he greets Renfield. But in the Spanish version, the camera slowly zooms in on Dracula, and he's got this kind of fixed, crazy grin. Dracula in the Spanish version is played by Carlos Alvarez, but he's not as iconic as Bela Lugosi. Also, the actor who plays Renfield falls victim to this, Pablo Alvarez Rubio. He's not as iconic as Dwight Fry's portrayal. In my mind, he just doesn't unfortunately bring what Dwight Fry brought to the character. I mean, come on, Dwight Fry's laugh is so amazingly creepy. And of course, you can't really tell the Dracula tale or have a Dracula movie without Professor Van Helsing. In Tod Browning's version, Van Helsing is played by the always amazing Edward Van Sloan, and in the Spanish version, Van Helsing is played by Eduardo Arozamena. I hope to God I've said that right. And of course, for me, Edward Van Sloan's portrayal as Professor Van Helsing is the much more superior. And strangely enough, considering that Dracula was the first sound horror movie, it has long sequences of just, well, pure silence. But this has now been changed with the latest Blu-ray release. At the end of it all, Tod Browning's Dracula, much like Nosferatu, is an important Dracula and vampire movie. Without this movie, we might not have had the other Dracula movies released by Hammer Studios. Hell, we might not have even had any other Dracula movies out there. But it all comes down to this. I mean, it's always up for debate. Who is the best portrayal of Count Dracula? I mean, everyone has their favourites. Whether it's Max Schreck, Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee, Louis Jourdan, Frank Langella, Gary Oldman, or even Claes Bang. Whatever your choice may be, let us never forget about Tod Browning's Dracula, the vampire movie that set the bar for many more to come through the years. So guys, that was my review on Tod Browning's 1931 movie Dracula. Thank you so much for watching. If you like it, give it a like, put some comments in the comment section, and let me know what your thoughts are on the movie. I hope you can join me for the next review, which of course will be Frankenstein. So, as always, I'll see you in the next video, and as always, take care.